What is up, guys? This is Wrong Guy, and this is literally just going to be rants and rambles and stuff that we're just going to go ahead and talk. So there's not going to be really anything too interesting on the screen, so if you guys just want to go ahead and minimize that, or if you're whatever, or if you haven't clicked off already. So rants and rambles is just going to be one of those things where we just do that. We pick a topic and rant and ramble about it. Now, I'm going to start off with something that a lot of people, especially kids, think is going to be like one of those really cool things, and that's working at Gamestop. So, when I first moved to Pennsylvania, I got a job at Best Buy, and then I got a job at GameStop because I thought that was going to be the coolest thing ever. So I quit my job at Best Buy and went straight to GameStop. Big mistake. Really big mistake. Because I'm a father, I have kids, I have bills, I have responsibilities, and what have you. Now, don't get me wrong, GameStop is... it can be a potentially good place to work if you are able to get into higher management. So if you're able to become a store leader or a district leader, a market leader, stuff like that, then I can understand why it would be beneficial to work there. Because, well, you get to do stuff, you get paid more for one. Making minimum wage, you cannot feed a family as big as mine on minimum wage. I don't know. I thought it was going to be the coolest thing ever. I thought working at GameStop was going to be like one of those dream jobs where you go there, you get to talk to people about games, which you do. Don't get me wrong, you do, but you meet some of the most toxic people there. Staff and clientele both. Now, the staff that I had was pretty cool. One guy does podcasts, and then my manager was really, really chill. She was super lenient, and she would always help you with whatever you needed help with. You need to train on something, boom, she'd make sure you get trained on it. You needed to brush up on whatever to help your sales. She would show you what she does. She would help you, I guess, transform that into what you do. She was definitely a good manager. She was a manager that you really wanted to have because she had your back and she wouldn't be afraid to go to war for you. I was I was an assistant store manager, so there was like two of us. Basically, we were glorified cashiers. We had keys, and we had to do things that the assistant manager and the store manager would do, but we didn't receive nearly the amount of pay. Plus, I was getting like 20 hours a week. Working... Oh, what the hell did I... Oh, no, I made them pay me $10 an hour because I had previous retail experience and because I told them that I wasn't going to leave Best Buy unless I could match their price. So they matched it. Then they acted like they were doing me a big favor there. Oh, it was horrible. But no, if you are in high school or if it's your first job out of high school and you don't have any responsibilities, you don't have any kids, you don't have any debt, you don't have whatever, great, do it. GameStop is fantastic for you because, well, it's enough to get you some experience. Granted, from what I hear now, the shit is as toxic can be to work there. That's just what I've heard from Camelot. So shout out to Camelot, that guy. So if you know him, you know him. If you don't, then I guess you don't. Just look up GameStop Camelot stories, I guess. But no, if it's just you and you don't have like any big bills to pay, and if you're still living with mom and dad and you're not paying rent or you don't have any big bills, sure, do it. GameStop is fantastic if you don't mind the all the bullshit that goes on with it. But if you have a family, if you are doing it because you think that you're going to get all the new games or get all the new systems before everyone else does, you don't. You really, truly do not. And for whatever reason, people who go into GameStop think that they're instantly going to be like, oh, yeah, no, I get to go in here, so I got to get all these games for free. No, you don't. You really, truly don't. You're lucky if you really get it. You're lucky if you really get any, because, yeah, sure, they send you codes for digital games. Rarely. And then, if you're the low man on the totem pole, there's a very high chance that you're not going to get it, because that's primarily going to be for, like, your store leader or your assistant store leader, or even one of the third-ring key holders. Like me, what I had to do is I had to make sure that I was like, because I usually open the shop. Like that was one of my big things is I was either the opener or the closer. I never really worked a middle shift because as the the third key holder. There really wasn't a middle shift. It was one or the other. No, so what I had to do is I had to make sure that I got all the emails before everybody else did, write that shit down and plug it into my phone. Oh, that was probably a bad thing to do, but hell, dude, that's how I got quite a few of my games. So I'm not going to apologize for it, because I don't know. They build it up. People build it up so much, and I don't know why they build it up so much, because they're lying to you. Like, they are flat out lying to people who think that going to GameStop is going to be one of those dream jobs where I'm going to go there, I'm going to get all these things, and I'm going to get to, play games all day and stuff. You don't. I mean, I don't think I played a single game while I was there, except for when I was, when I first got there, I was checking out the Switch because I didn't have one yet. And one of the, what are they called? The SGs? I don't remember what the hell they're called. The grunts, basically. The people who don't have a title, more or less. We were sitting there playing around with it, and I was talking to him, and he was showing me. So I picked up the gamepad, and I was looking around at it, and I was like, oh, demos. So that was pretty interesting. Or when we'd get the random kid who would ask us how to start things up, or the parent who would ask us to start things up for their kid. That was one of the things that we would do. And I don't know. Like I said, if you want to go to work at GameStop, more power to you, as long as you think that you're going to get like higher management or something like that. Because then, yeah, you do get to go to convention. So that's going to be pretty fun. And you get the newest systems as they come out. From what I've seen, I know that our store leader, like, she got the Switch when it came out, she got the PS5 when it came out, the PS4, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X. Yeah, so as they came out, they basically sent her one. So I don't know if that's how it is for every GameStop, but that's how it was for her. And like I said, then they get to go to convention, which normally they would tell you that they would go to, like, where the hell would they go? They would go to Vegas or something like that, and they'd do meet and greets, and they'd meet the higher ups, and they'd chill down on the main floor, and get like first in-depth look at some of the games, like more in detail, that you would normally see at that week or that year's like E3 and stuff like that. So, I guess this has turned from a rant and rave to just a bitching session about GameStop, just because of my horrible experience. I mean, like I said, that's my horrible experience. That's the experience that I had. Maybe other people love it. Maybe other people make a full-on career out of it. Maybe people, they work their ass off. They start off as an SG, go to SGA, go to the assistant store manager, and then become a store leader, and then maybe they go on to become whatever. But if you can deal with all of that bullshit that you had to deal with to go from point, like, down, like, maybe, I mean, like, I saw some of our SGs getting, like, 8 hours a week or less. Now, if you can handle that, like, if you started off like that, and then you made it all the way up to, like, a store leader or a district or whatever, then, dude, hats off to you. You dealt with more bullshit than I could have possibly dealt with. Yeah, that's just absolutely insane, and I applaud you. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. Alright, so I guess on to the next portion of this here is, I'm going to go ahead and tell you some horror stories about from when I worked at GameStop. Just because I can't figure out anything else to rant and rave, and I just had to run down the hall and go do some stuff. So, anywho. So, I guess the first horror story that I had working, like the very first horror story that I got into while working at GameStop, started off as a Cricket wireless sales rep. So basically I sold phones. That's why they paid me more than minimum wage, and that's why they hired me, was because when I worked at Walmart I sold phones. And at Best Buy I didn't. No, so as a Cricket wireless rep, there was a lot of flack because we had like this little, I think it was like a less than 2 foot little space on the very, very end of one of the caps. And they expected me to sell the service. They expected me to, to be that used car salesman, even though everyone knows that Cricket Wireless was hot garbage back when it first came, or back when it was I guess first starting, yeah, it bounced off the AT&T towers is what they told us to tell people, and they told us that, oh yeah, if you get AT&T service, you'll get this here just as well. There are no shortages, no nothing like that, which we all know is bullshit. Now, about a week into my first week into selling these phones, our district manager came, and he's a short little guy with his bright red hair and little red goatee, looked like a little leprechaun. He comes over and talks to me, and he's like, so go ahead and give me your sales pitch. So I go ahead and I try to sell him some cricket stuff, and he was like, oh yeah, no, that's really good, and he's like, who are you trying to market these to? And I was like, basically, I'm just letting everyone know, I'm handing flyers, just planting those seeds like they told you to do. He's like, no, go for like the farmers, or go for the people who don't know jack shit about phones. Go for the people who can't afford a regular phone. So he was like telling me to go after the people who I thought wouldn't be able to afford like AT&T or Verizon. He was telling me to go for the people who he thought looked poor. He was telling me to go for the people who looked unintelligent. So that was kind of like one of my first red flags there. And I was there for a year and a half, 2 years. No, I was there for 2 years. Since then, really wasn't a fan. And then Cricket, I guess they got out of their deal with GameStop about, I don't know, I think it was like 5 or 6 months later, and that's when I was like, shit, am I out of a job now? Like, do I need to start looking for something? So I was talking to my manager, I was like, hey, do I need to start finding something else? And she was like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, I've already talked to them, and I talked them into giving you one of our other employees old spots because he was going down to part-time because he was working elsewhere. So they went ahead and they made me not the assistant store manager, but the assistant to the assistant, or the SGA. The senior game advisor, or whatever the fuck it is. GA, that's what they're called. The GAs are the bottom guys, and then the senior game advisor is what I was. So they gave me my keys, and the first day they were like, all right, so we're going to show you how to do everything day one, and then we're going to expect you to know how to do it. Okay. So I get in there, and they're showing me all this here down. I'm making my notes, and she's making her notes, and so she's really making sure that I understand it. And then it was great. It was fine. Skip a couple weeks, our district guy comes back, the leprechaun man comes back. He's like, yo, he's still here, and this, that, and the other thing, and doing this, that. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, all right, well, show me how you're doing this here. So I showed him how to, and then everything, he was just picking it apart. I mean, I guess that's his job, is to pick everything apart. But he was telling me shit that my store leader told me was wrong. So that's when I was like, what do you mean it's wrong? And he's like, well, this is how I would do it, and this is how you should do it. And it's just like, okay, all right. So I do everything how he wants me to do it. And then the next day, my regular store leader comes in, and she's like, why isn't this here done this way? And this, that, and the other thing. I was like, because he told me not to. He told me to do it this way, and she's just like, no, just go ahead and keep doing it my way, and if he asks you about it, just tell him to call me. So that's what I did. So I basically became a messenger between district and store leader, which, I don't know, that was something. So GameStop as a whole, as you know, you used to be able to take, well, I guess you still can. I don't know if you can or not because of the big virus or the pandemic. But anyhow, you used to be able to take consoles in and whatever, and dude, some of the consoles and games that we got were freaking disgusting. Like, I cannot tell you how many PS4s came in, and so we sit there and we blow them out right then and there. We try to clean them out before we plug them in to test them to make sure they work. And there was one where I blew it out in like 3, 4, 5, I don't know, just clumps and clumps and clumps of roaches were just pouring out of this PS4, and dude, that's just nasty. Like, that shit is gross. And then I went ahead and I looked it up, and apparently that is a very common thing where roaches love PS4s because it's dark and hot. And they can go in there and they can multiply and just clog up your shit and make your shit not work. So apparently that's a normal thing. So we had to, just tightly wrap that there and send it out and then have it cleaned and whatever. And then we got it back, and it still had roaches in it. So I was like, oh, lovely. Yeah, so that was a pretty nasty one. Some of the games that we got, I don't know, I think it was a copy of GTA 4 that we got back in, and so we had to take them out, look at them, and it had like tar on the disc itself, and the guy said that he was trying to clean it, but he accidentally grabbed the wrong goo, quote unquote goo, and I just kind of looked at him, and I looked at my coworker, I was like, what do you mean goo? And he's like, well, I bought this cleaning stuff off of this guy down the road. And it's just like, okay, can't take it. And he's like, why not? Because got this goo on it. So he got all pissy. And that's another big thing. If you're not prepared for people to, like, bite your head off over the stupid shit, don't work at GameStop. Do not do it, people. They will yell at you till they're blue in the face for stuff that is absolutely not your fault. You're given a, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. You're given a how to return, or how to buy stuff. I can't think of the word to it. But they give you their demonstration. They show you what they expect everything to look like. And if it doesn't meet those qualifications, you're not supposed to buy it. You're not supposed to take it in. That's just that. But they will breathe down your neck like no one's business, because that's how GameStop makes their money, is they will buy games for cheap, sell it for a lot. And that's why if you ever go to GameStop and you see a used game or a new game for $49.99, you'll see the same exact game used for $54 and change. It's just like, well, what the hell are you doing? It's like, why would I not buy the new game for cheaper and it's still in cellophane? Or there's even been a couple of times where a brand new game will come out, someone will come in, buy it, and then sell it right back to us the next day. Fine, whatever, it is what it is. Same exact price they will have us mark that for. Or maybe it'll be like 3 cents cheaper or stuff like that, because they expect people to, because back in the day with the GameStop power-up card things, you used to get like 10% off of used games. Apparently that doesn't happen anymore. So apparently that's a thing that's gone with the wind or whatever, or at least that's what I've been told. I don't shop at GameStop anymore. I buy most of my stuff online or at Walmart or Target. I can be that fancy bitch, and I will go to Target, and I'll buy some stuff there, but that's very rare because that's like a 30-minute drive compared to a 5-minute drive for me. So, that's one of those things. Or Amazon. Amazon's great. That's a thing. All right, so last story for GameStop, because this video here is already almost 20 minutes long. I don't know how long I want to make these rant casts. I think that's what we're going to call it, rant cast. Rant O Cast. Rant O Cast. Okay, that's what we'll call it, Rant O Cast. So, there was a gentleman who came into the store. Now, this gentleman here is... How to explain this without sounding like a giant dill hole. He is less intelligent than the average bear, but he knows what he's doing, I guess. Like, he's actively trying to use his lack of knowledge to get things. Like, he's trying to con people, basically. So, he goes down the block to a rent-a-center. He gets a brand new PS4 there. He rents it all out, whatever. And he calls us up. And he's like, hey, how much can I get for this PS4? Blah, 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 blah. So I go ahead and I look it up and I give him his price. I'm like, great, that's less than I got it for, because apparently with rent-a-center, you only pay, you pay it off over time. So he comes down with his brand new PS4 still in the box with the rent-a-center ticket still taped on the damn box. So he comes up. He was like, hey, yeah, no, I just got this here, and I want to sell it. And I looked at it, and I looked at him. I was like, all right, yeah, no, give me a second. So I go to the back real quick. I tell him that I got to go get a ticket for it and whatever. So I go to the back. I let my manager know. So she calls the guy from Rent-A-Center. Because, this isn't the first time this has happened. This will be the last time this has happened. So she lets him know, and she tells me to stall him. Like, she texts me, on the computer thing, and she texts me, she's like, hey, try to draw it out a little bit. So, all right, that's fine. So I draw it out as much as I can. I open the box, I carefully peel off the plastic, I plug everything in, make sure that I blow it out extra good, even though it was brand new out of the box. And so I make sure that everything is, I try to take my time. The guy comes in, the manager from the Rent-A-Center, he comes down, and the dude's face just goes white. And he was like, so what are you doing? And he's like, well, I'm selling a PS4. It's like, isn't that the one you just picked up from the store? And he's like, no. And the tag's still on the box. So he picks up, he's like, you're still going to have to pay for it even if you sell it. He's like, well, no, I won't, because I won't have it anymore. And if I don't have it anymore, I don't have to pay you for it because I don't have it. And I was just like, what? So this starts to become a whole thing. The cops get involved somehow because those two start yelling at each other in our store. Manager comes out, tells me to decline the sale, blah, 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 blah. So I decline the sale because, that's what we're supposed to do because he's, I guess, leasing this game system and he's trying to make a couple, I think he would have only got 210 or 215 from it. And I think he said that the starting thing was $100, so he was making, over $100 on it. So I don't know. It was just one of those really, really weird things where the guy, he knew what he was doing, and he used his lack of intelligence to try to get one over on people. And unfortunately, that happens a lot of GameStop. Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the weirder ones, is that he literally just got it from the Rent-A-Center and he came down. And alright, so no, I said that was the last one, but this one here is going to be the last one, I promise, and then you guys can hang up. You guys can, if you made it this far, congrats. Congrats, you made it this far, awesome. Like I said, there's really nothing going on the screen, so you could have had this minimized. Anywho, so one of the funniest things that happened to me personally while working at GameStop was little boy and his mom came into the store. Little boy goes over, picks up GTA 5, because, that's what they do. And I look at his mom, I was like, this is rated M. And she's like, oh, it's fine. He watches this stuff on TV. I was like, really? And she was like, why? How bad is it? So I go ahead and I turn the game around, and the kid's face just he's staring daggers. But as soon as I turn it around, he starts sweating. She reads it. It's sexual, what is it? The nudity, the graphic content, the sexual content, the just everything. And she's looking at him, and she looks down at him, and she hands me the case. She's like, I don't think we'll be buying this today. He came in 3 days later with his grandma, and his grandma bought it for him. So it's well, I tried. It didn't work. He conned his grandma. I don't know what to tell you. Lady got mad because we sold it to him. And I was like, what do you want me to do about it? I can't tell you how to spend or not spend your money, let alone his grandmother. I can't tell this little old lady, no, ma'am, you can't buy this game for your kid because your kid's a little shit. And he was already told once, no. But then he asked you, and then you said, yes, because you're the grandmother, and that's what you do, and you buy video games, and you don't read the things, and you don't know what it is, and, oh, I'm tired, I'm lightheaded. Alright, well, Rant O Cast, sponsored by me, TWG. For those of you who didn't know, I do sell shirts now, and some stickers. Thank you for the couple of people who have already made purchases. I greatly appreciate it. Knowing that there's people walking around out there with my merch on is the coolest thing in the world. To me, anyway. Yeah, so that'll be in the description. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And we're listening. Probably haven't watched. Probably listened. Alright. Have yourselves a good one. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now.